Space, the final frontier.
Hello, welcome to Blue Harvest Toys. I'm doing this video today because I've hit a massive milestone. No, not 1700, 1701. Or 1701 if you prefer. So hand in your geek card if you don't know what I'm on about, because of course it's the registration of the USS Enterprise. So what's better to celebrate that milestone than to talk about Star Trek toys? Star Trek has become one of the most successful television franchises in history since its debut in 1966. Its popularity has led to 13 feature films, 9 spin-off TV programmes, a cartoon series, and plus numerous novels and comic books. Ironically, Star Trek nearly didn't happen. The idea for the series came from American screenwriter Gene Roddenberry, but he had a difficult time selling a sci-fi programme to the American TV networks. Despite the lack of interest of the genre, 2 pilot episodes eventually led to a regular series. Star Trek was set in the 23rd century and took place aboard the Starfleet vessel USS Enterprise, a combination exploration and defence vessel. Despite some dodgy special effects, Star Trek was an intelligent and well-cast show. The first die-cast models based on Star Trek were not released until 1976. It was produced by Dinky, a company that had a lot of experience in model spacecraft due to a long-term link-up with Jerry Hanson's TV21 company. The reason the models were released at this time may be due to Star Trek recently being rerun on British TV. The USS Enterprise, launched in 2245, was a Constitution-class starship. These ships featured a large saucer-shaped primary hull, linked to the cylindrical secondary hull, which has a pair of pylons attached to the engine nacelles. The Dinky model accurately captures the unique design of the Enterprise, although somewhat compromised by the inclusion of working features to give it play value. The bottom of secondary hull features a pair of opening metal doors, which reveal a removable, oversized shuttlecraft, moulded in orange plastic. The opening doors could be used to form a stand for the model, which could not otherwise balance on its rounded base. The other action features involved the firing photon torpedoes, although these were actually just plastic discs that were loaded in a hole at the rear of the saucer, and when the unpainted metal command bridge was rotated, the discs shot out in front of the ship in quick succession, working like a mini machine gun. The Enterprise model was all die-cast except for the top half of the saucer, the engine pylons and the parts in orange plastic, the engine rotors and the front radar dish. It was decorated with accurate labels on the saucer and the engine tubes. Early versions were packed with a cardboard box, while later examples came in window boxes. A companion model was released the following year, a Klingon battlecruiser, as used by the hostile warrior race from Star Trek. This was based on a D7 class heavy battlecruiser, a strange looking vessel with a command bridge separated from the rest of the ship by a long boom. The Dinky model was largely accurate, although containing a lot of plastic. The underside of the rear section of the engine were all in white plastic. The ship had a similar action feature to the Enterprise, as discs could be loaded into a hole on the top of the command section and fired off by squeezing the canards on the side. This feature worked well, although it resulted in the front section of the ship not looking very accurate. The ship was painted metallic blue and had correct Klingon Empire insignias on the wings. It was packaged in a large window box and also as a 2-pack with the Enterprise. The Klingon ship was not a strong seller and many languished in toy shops for years. On to the first Star Trek movie in 1979, the Enterprise was refitted with new angular engine nacelles and thicker secondary hull. Dinky planned to modify the large Enterprise model to reflect this, but ultimately this did not happen. Instead, a miniature version of the new look Enterprise was produced. It was a fairly accurate shaped model, although the fit and finish left something to be desired. It was soon accompanied by a miniature Klingon battlecruiser, which was made from just 2 pieces of die-cast metal, with no working features. It was more realistic than its larger counterpart, and was finished in dark metallic blue with accurate Klingon stickers on its wings. These models came in movie tie-in blister cards. Unfortunately, Dinky went under not long after, and the license for the second film went to Corgi, resulting in a pair of junior models. Corgi's version of the Enterprises were not particularly accurate. The secondary hull was too short and stubby, while the engine pylons were far too forward. resulting in the nacelles nearly touching the saucer. Again, the Enterprise was accompanied by a Klingon ship. Although this warship looked similar to the Dinky model, it was actually a more advanced Katinga class ship, with subtle differences. The Corgi model was made from a singular piece of blue painted plastic, with a white plastic engine rivet in the top. Although quite an accurate casting, it was spoiled by having the silly looking K sticker on the wings rather than the proper Klingon insignias. For the next film, Star Trek III: The Search for Spock, the license went to American company Ertl. This time there were 3 new models, including the most accurate version of the Enterprise so far. Correctly shaped, and with good casting detail, this mod all metal, except for the engines. It was accompanied by a Klingon bird of prey ship, which had just one piece casting. It was painted pale blue, with Star Trek logos printed on the wings, an annoying practice used by Ertl on many of the TV and film models. The third model was an USS Excelsior, which was the first Starfleet vessel other than the Enterprise to be modelled. Excelsior was an experimental starship that was meant to be commanded by Mr. Sulu, and was much more larger and more streamlined than the Enterprise. The Ertl version was an interesting model, but lacked the detail of the other two. Ertl models were packed on tie-in blister cards, and for the first time featured stands to display the ships on. At the end of the third film, the Enterprise was destroyed, and the fourth film featured the crew travelling back in time with, ironically, Christopher Lloyd's Klingon bird of prey, but no models were made for Star Trek IV. The next instalment, Star Trek V: The Final Frontier, Ertl released a new version of the Enterprise and Klingon bird of prey castings. The Enterprise was almost identical to the previous version, except for the fleet number NCC-1701A, the designation of the new ship featured in the film. The Klingon bird of prey was the same one-piece casting, but now finished in an attractive two-tone green, with grey engine intakes and an impressive bird's wing design printed on the underside. There are so many more modern versions of the Enterprise and Star Trek ships. Check out Eagle Moss. They do a model of every starship ever created in Star Trek. And of course Hot Wheels do versions from the JJ Verse movies. So I hope you enjoyed that little look of the diecast starships from Star Trek. And I hope you'll stick around and look at all the other videos I've got up on the channel. Take your coat off, stick around, like, share and subscribe. So until the next time, live long and prosper, and may the toys be with you.